cars are all about luxury, performance, and innovation. But some? They take those things to a whole new level. We're talking insane tech, mind-boggling engineering, and cars that go way beyond the ordinary. You get a chaotic mix of genius and utter madness under the hood. Hydraulic systems, futuristic dashboards, and gadgets that make you wonder why they even exist. These cars aren't just complicated, they're stupidly complex. In this video, we dive into the 17 most ridiculously intricate cars ever built. So, buckle up because it's about to get crazy. Starting at number 17 is the Volkswagen Feton. The 2002 Feton has a 6.0-liter W12 engine, smooth air suspension, and multi-zone climate control. Even the air vents are fancy. They stay hidden behind wood panels until you need them, because regular vents just aren't fancy enough. Volkswagen built this car to compete with Mercedes and BMW. But there's a problem. Buyers don't see VW as a luxury brand. It's too premium for regular VW fans, but not prestigious enough for high-end buyers. It's like showing up to a black tie event in a tuxedo made by a sneaker brand. Take a second to realize, the Feton is basically a Bentley in disguise. Underneath, it shares DNA with the Audi A8 and Bentley Flying Spur. Many of its parts come straight from those brands, and their prices reflect that. Even small repairs cost a fortune. A replacement air suspension compressor sets you back over $2,000. A new W12 water pump? $3,500. And it adds up fast. The Feton's electronics are a nightmare. It has over 60 onboard computers. When something breaks, finding the issue takes time and money. The air suspension is smooth, but a $5,000 headache if it fails. The car is a technological masterpiece, yet also a mechanic's worst nightmare. Next up at number 16, we have the Mercedes-Benz 600. The Benz 600, produced from 1963, is possibly the most difficult car Mercedes has ever built. It's a plumber's nightmare, but a timeless design. This car oozes luxury, but don't be fooled, it's a complex beast. The beating heart of this car is a 6.3-liter V8 engine paired with an adjustable air suspension. It delivers a smooth, cushioned ride, but that's just the start. The real star is the 3,200 PSI hydraulic system. This system was groundbreaking for its time, but it requires constant maintenance to stay functional. First, the hydraulic system demands about 50 horsepower just to keep everything running. The side windows, trunk lid, and sliding sunroof all rely on this intricate setup. So, a failure in any part of the system brings the whole car to a halt. While the car's steel construction ensures it won't rust, the hydraulic switches are poorly designed. These switches can be a real headache to fix. Expect time-consuming repairs and high costs. Despite the challenges, the 600 delivers luxury like no other. The V8 engine rumbles with power, and the car feels like a land yacht gliding in the air. Coming in at number 15 is the Lexus LS600H. This car may be a Toyota product, but don't expect Camry levels of simplicity. The 2007 Lexus LS600H is insanely complicated, and it's packed with technology that pushes the boundaries. It's the first car to combine a V8 engine with a full hybrid system, producing an impressive 445 horsepower. This gives the car a powerful performance, but that's just the beginning. Packed with advanced features, the LS600H offers adaptive cruise control, pre-crash safety, and lane-keeping assist. All these features come with a price: complexity. The hybrid system adds weight and increases the car's curb weight to approximately 5,203 pounds. This extra weight affects handling and adds to the vehicle's overall complexity. The diagnostics are not as easy. When something goes wrong, don't expect a quick fix. You'll face diagnostic fees and have to fire the parts cannon to figure out which of the 20 subsystems is the culprit. In the end, the LS600H is an impressive fusion of luxury, performance, and sustainability. But it's not for those who want simple. It's a car that challenges even the most seasoned mechanic. Number 14 is the McLaren P1. First, it's a challenge to drive. The McLaren P1 is an absolute beast, and you won't safely handle it without track time and high-performance driving experience. Without that, the car's sheer power will overwhelm even the most confident drivers. Only the experts need to apply. Under the hood, it's a hybrid monster. The 3.8-liter twin-turbo V8 paired with a 177 horsepower electric motor delivers an insane amount of power and instant throttle response. It's a car that demands your full attention at all times. The Formula One tech in this car makes it even more complicated. You get instant power assist system, IPS, drag reduction system, DRS, and KERS, all lifted straight from the track. These are activated with buttons on the steering wheel that add a whole new layer of complexity. Aerodynamics is absolutely on the next level. With a huge adjustable rear wing and a complex rear diffuser, the P1 creates downforce like no other road car. At high speeds, this keeps the car glued to the road, but it requires a driver who knows exactly what they're doing. Number 13 is the Citroen DS. The Citroen DS always had a loyal following in the US, but its complexity scared off potential buyers. And yes, it was complex, especially the 1955 models. But that was part of its charm. First, the hydro pneumatic suspension. This system was a game changer. It used pressurized fluid and nitrogen gas to control ride height and provide a smooth ride. However, it was prone to leaks and required specialized tools and knowledge to fix. For many, this became a maintenance nightmare. The DS featured a one-arm steering wheel, a mushroom-shaped brake pedal, and a semi-automatic transmission in some models. These features gave the car personality, but they could be tricky for anyone used to conventional designs. When it came to maintenance and repair, the DS was a whole different beast. Its unique components made repairs time-consuming and expensive. Finding parts or experienced mechanics wasn't always easy, adding to the car's already complex reputation. Taking the 12th position is the Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner. The Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner was a true engineering marvel of the 1950s. It had a hardtop roof that folded away with just the press of a button. At the time, this was groundbreaking. But with innovation comes complexity. The retractable hardtop system relied on 7 motors, 4 lift jacks, and 600 feet of wiring. That's a lot of moving parts, and a lot that could go wrong. If just one motor failed or a wire shorted out, the whole system could jam, leaving the roof stuck halfway open. Not exactly ideal in bad weather. And let's not forget the trunk, or rather, the lack of it. The roof had to fold somewhere, and that meant the trunk was nearly useless when the top was down. Buyers loved the futuristic design, but many found it impractical for daily use. Despite its flaws, the Skyliner was a bold experiment in automotive design. It showed what was possible when style and technology came together. While it wasn't perfect, it paved the way for future retractable hardtops and remains one of the coolest cars of its era. At number 11 is the Aston Martin Laganda, 1976. It had a wedge-shaped design, an all-digital dashboard, and LED displays. In the 1970s, this was science fiction on wheels. Aston Martin also featured touch-sensitive controls, a huge leap in car technology. But there was a problem. None of it worked reliably. The electronics were so complex that they failed constantly. Owners found themselves fighting glitchy screens, flickering lights, and unresponsive buttons. The development costs were astronomical. Aston Martin spent so much on the electronics that they ended up costing more than the car itself. And when something broke, troubleshooting was a nightmare. Despite the issues, the Laganda was fast and luxurious. It had the power and presence of a true grand tourer, making it surprisingly capable as a daily driver, if you had the patience. In the 10th spot is Koigseg Reggera. It ditches the traditional multi-gear transmission for something radical, Koigseg Direct Drive. Instead of shifting gears, a single-speed system delivers power seamlessly. This makes it one of the most insane and intricate engineering feats ever attempted. The Reggera combines a twin-turbo 5.0-liter V8 with 3 electric motors, producing a mind-blowing 1,500-plus horsepower. The result? Explosive acceleration, instant torque, and face-melting speed. But all that performance comes at a price complexity. The direct drive system is cutting-edge but highly intricate. It needs advanced cooling, ultra-precise engineering, and next-level materials. Even routine maintenance isn't simple. If something breaks, it's not a quick or cheap fix. The robotic dihedral synchro-helix doors add to its complexity. They look futuristic, but they rely on multiple motors, sensors, and software. If one thing goes wrong, you might be stuck inside your multi-million-dollar hypercar. Number 9 is the Bugatti Veyron. The development of the Veyron was one of the biggest challenges in automotive history. Bugatti engineers had to push the limits of physics and try things that had never been done before. It was a moonshot, an experiment in speed, power, and precision. But pushing boundaries comes at a price: insane complexity. Powering this beast is an 8.0-liter W16 engine with 4 turbochargers, cranking out 1,001 horsepower. It wasn't just fast, it shattered records, hitting 253 miles per hour and setting a new standard for hypercars. Keeping that beast cool required 10 radiators and an advanced cooling system. This makes it one of the most intricate cars ever built. The Veyron was the first production car with carbon ceramic brakes, also the first to use titanium bolts, and the first with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Everything was cutting edge, but that also meant insane production costs. Volkswagen lost money on every Veyron sold. Coming in at number 8 is the Mercedes-Benz W140. Built to be the best luxury sedan in the world, this car introduced features that were way ahead of their time. But with innovation comes complexity, and the 1991 W140 had plenty of both. It was the first Mercedes to use the CAN bus system, streamlining communication between electronic components. It also had self-closing doors, intelligent parking sensors, and a sophisticated suspension that made it glide over the road. But all these high-tech features had a downside: more things to break, and when they did, they cost a fortune. And let's not forget the double-paned windows. They created an eerily silent cabin, making the outside world disappear. Luxury at its finest, as you'd expect of a brand like Benz. All that technology came with a price. Maintaining the W140 wasn't for the faint of heart. Its electronic systems needed specialized knowledge, and this wasn't a job for your average mechanic. Then there was its size. Massive, even by today's standards. Some loved its presence. Others thought it was just too much. Still, the W140 set the blueprint for modern luxury. Without it, cars like the Maybach wouldn't exist. It was bold, excessive, and complicated, but that's exactly what made it legendary. At number 7, we have the Mazda RX7 FD. Mazda has a reputation for building fun, reliable cars. But the RX7 FD? That's a different story. It is brilliant, but also one of the most complicated sports cars ever made. Mazda isn't known for high maintenance costs, except for the RX7. At its core is the legendary 13 BREW rotary engine, a lightweight powerhouse with a sequential twin-turbo system. It delivers smooth, high-revving power, giving the RX-7 razor-sharp performance and near-perfect weight distribution. On a twisty road, it feels alive, but complexity comes at a cost. The rotary engine in the RX-7 is a high-maintenance nightmare. It burns oil by design, needs frequent rebuilds, and won't forgive neglect. Its twin turbos must work in perfect sync. If they don't, good luck figuring out what's wrong. Even experienced mechanics struggle with it. Then there's fuel consumption, abysmal even by sports car standards. And yet, despite its challenges, the RX7 FD remains a legend. It is lightweight, beautifully balanced, and has a driving feel that few cars can match. Complex? Absolutely. But for those willing to deal with the quirks, it is magic. Number 6 is the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 Spider. Mitsubishi isn't usually known for overcomplicated designs, but the 3000 GT VR4 Spider breaks that mold. Built between 1995 and 1996, it stands as one of the most intricate Japanese sports cars ever produced. Under the hood, a twin-turbocharged 3.0-liter V6 pumps power to all four wheels. It boasts active aerodynamics, four-wheel steering, and an adaptive suspension. On paper, it's packed with cutting-edge tech. In practice, it's a mechanical puzzle that few are eager to solve. The biggest headache is the retractable hardtop. It was the first of its kind since the 1950s Ford Skyliner, but instead of being a lightweight roadster, the Spider is a heavy grand tourer. The top's hydraulic system is a maze of motors, sensors, and delicate components, perfect for malfunctioning. And when it does, tracking down replacement parts is insane. The vehicle is too heavy, over 4,000 pounds. The extra complexity makes it less rigid than the coupe, dulling its handling. It's quick, but it never feels as precise as its competitors. Next at number 5 is the BMW 7 Series. As much as BMW loves innovation, the 2001 to 2008 7 Series, E65, took things too far. Instead of making luxury effortless, it turned driving into a lesson in frustration. The biggest culprit? The iDrive system. It was one of the first infotainment systems, but it was slow, clunky, and confusing. Even tech-savvy drivers struggled to navigate its menus. Simple tasks, like adjusting the radio or climate control, felt like hacking into a computer. Also, instead of a traditional lever, BMW introduced a joystick-style shifter that baffled drivers. Many put the car in neutral or reverse by mistake. Parking wasn't much easier either. The electronic parking brake had a mind of its own and loved to fail at the worst moments. And let's talk about electronics, because the E65 was drowning in them. From the keyless entry system to the countless sensors, everything was controlled by computers. When they worked, it was impressive. When they didn't, the car shut down and repair bills skyrocketed. BMW learned its lesson, and later models dialed back the complexity. In the fourth position is the Honda Prelude 4WS. With its innovative four-wheel steering 4WS, the Honda Prelude made tight turns a breeze and handled with precision. The 4WS system allowed the rear wheels to turn at both high and low speeds, giving it unmatched agility on the road. But as impressive as it was, it added complexity. Later models from 1987 to 2001 featured an electronic-controlled 4WS system. While advanced, it was expensive and tricky to repair. The Prelude also had pop-up headlights, a unique design feature. Sadly, these headlights came with issues. They were prone to electrical failures, often getting stuck in either the up or down position. Under the hood, Honda's high-revving engines offered a thrilling drive but needed extra care. These engines were built for performance, so regular maintenance was key to keeping them running at their best. While the 4WS system was groundbreaking, it made the Prelude more complex than necessary for a mainstream coupe. Despite the innovation, the Prelude 4WS wasn't for everyone, especially those looking for a simpler, low-maintenance car. Taking the third place is the Ferrari 512 TR. Ferrari is all about luxury and performance, but the 512 TR, built between 1991 and 1994, takes complexity to a whole new level. While it's an evolution of the iconic Testarossa, it kept the flat 12 engine. And that's where the trouble starts. This engine isn't easy to maintain. Even simple tasks like replacing belts require taking the engine out. The 512 TR also had a computerized ignition system. That system often needed expert recalibration, and don't even think about doing it yourself. Then there's the transmission. It was too fragile, needing careful shifting to avoid wear. If you're a hard driver, you wouldn't survive it. But despite all this, the 512 TR was stunning. Its performance was legendary, and the design still turns heads. But owning one meant signing up for a hefty price tag, not just at the dealership, but in the shop too. Its beauty and performance don't come without a cost, one that'll hurt your wallet if you're not careful. Number 2 is the Cadillac XLR. Any model built between 2004 and 2009 was Cadillac's bold attempt at a luxury roadster. It had the looks: sleek, modern, and packed with high-tech features. But in practice, it was a different story. First, the retractable hardtop. It was supposed to impress, but it often malfunctioned. When it worked, it was great. When it didn't, repairs were costly and a hassle. Similarly, the Northstar V8 engine was known for head gasket failures and oil leaks. It didn't live up to expectations. The magnetic ride control suspension was a cool feature at first, but when it needed repairs, it wasn't cheap to fix. And don't forget the push-button transmission. It sounded futuristic, but it sometimes refused to shift properly. It added more frustration than convenience. At the end of the day, the XLR had the looks but lacked the reliability. It was an ambitious luxury roadster, but all those high-tech features made it expensive and complicated to maintain. If you bought one, you signed up for a lot more than just a cool ride. Finally, in the first spot is the Porsche 959. The 1986 to 1993 Porsche 959 models were groundbreaking, but they came with a hefty price tag, not just in dollars, but in complexity. At the core of the 959 was its twin-turbo flat-six engine. It delivered amazing power, yet required precise tuning because of its early sequential turbo system. The all-wheel drive system, which was ahead of its time, had a variable torque split. While it provided incredible handling, it was also tricky to repair. Then there was the self-adjusting suspension. It had 3 ride heights, but it often malfunctioned. The complexity didn't stop there. This car was a maintenance challenge. The Porsche 959 was a performance machine that pushed boundaries, but its advanced tech made it difficult to maintain. Porsche even had to restart a factory restoration program years later to keep these cars on the road. Bonus, the Chrysler Turbine car, 1963. Chrysler built only 50 of these experimental cars. It was powered by a jet turbine engine instead of the usual combustion engine. The idea was to change the way cars are powered, making them smoother and more durable. But there were problems. Turbine engines used a lot of fuel, and parts were expensive to replace. The car also had to run on different fuels, like kerosene or diesel, which was pretty unusual. Even though it was a tech breakthrough, it didn't work out. The complexity, inefficiency, and impracticality made it a short-lived experiment. If you enjoyed this deep dive into automotive complexity, don't miss our next video on 11 cars that are almost perfect according to Consumer Reports. And before you go, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a ride with us.